How would you feel if you were to save a loved one's life, or a friend, or a coworker, or a classmate? Well, pay attention to the speech, and hopefully, I can give you some information and tips of where you can pick up on signs and tells that someone may be suicidal or depressed, so that then they do not make the horrible decision of ending their life by themselves. There's over 800,000 suicides per year on average, and that is from Guys in his piece called The Science Direct. One person every 40 seconds dies by suicide. I'll repeat that. One person every 40 seconds dies by suicide. The leading cause of suicide is by firearm in 2019, and that is from Raymond in his writing called Care Pathways in a Suicide Crisis. There's a lot of ways that you can pick up on different tells that people are putting out that they may be depressed or suicidal. And some of those ways are more obvious, and those are the physical signs such as cutting themselves, burning themselves, physically harming themselves in any way. And then there's some ways that people put out subconsciously that they're suicidal that is a lot harder to pick up on, such as becoming uninterested in activities that they used to love, such as sports, writing, theater, anything like that that they used to really enjoy. The most important thing when talking to or about a suicidal person, if you bring it up to them, is for them to admit that they need help. Because if they admit that they need help, then that's the most important step and the first step that you need to look into. And then after they admit that they need help, there's so many resources out there that can guide you and help you hopefully not make that horrible decision, or your friend make that horrible decision of suicide. One of these, which is a great place to start, is the suicide hotline. And that is from your Toiglu in his article called International Journal of Nursing. There's also more extreme versions of getting help, which could include hospitalization, mental hospitals, which is for people who are still trying to hurt themselves even after being evaluated by a doctor, let's say. And then another great place to go is a therapist. And therapy is such a scary word sometimes, as, let's say in a movie, it's portrayed as some crazy person has to go there. You don't have to be crazy to go to therapy. It's healthy to talk about your problems. It's healthy to get the negative thoughts in your head out of you. And going to therapy can benefit you in the long run, as it teaches you so many things, such as how to communicate your issues to other people and how to be open. So, after learning that there is a crisis going on, and if you still don't believe me, then we can take a look. Hopefully you can see it okay. Here, this is a chart of the different demographics of how suicide is affecting the United States. And the blue is when it is 1999. And it was, obviously any number is a bad number, but in the blue, it was a lot lower in any race. And as you can see, in 2017 is the green, and there's been a spike. And so that's why my title is The Suicide Crisis, because whether you believe it or not, the suicide crisis is now. From 1999, it was a lot lower, which obviously still is not good, but right now the spike in suicides is out of hand, that's for sure. So my whole point about showing you this chart and telling you these different ways that you can go help people is so that this number can hopefully one day be zero, so that everyone knows how to go help yourself, your friend, your mom, your aunt, your uncle, anyone. So after learning about these different ways to help people, what are you going to do with this information? It's super easy, I do it all the time, to learn something and then have it go one ear, not the other. But this is a topic that is pushed under the rug because it's an uncomfortable topic. But we should make it more normalized, where if you don't feel right, where you can go and get help from these resources, where you can go and ask your friends, your therapist, let's say, anyone for help. Because I, for one, and I know many of you, don't want to see another suicide. I've been affected by it personally through friends, and I'm sure many of you have seen the long-lasting effects on the families and friends of people who choose this awful way out. So after learning all of this new information and ways you can go help people, are you going to go out and help others and be that person that other people can talk to? Or are you just going to sit there and let a friend or family member become another one of those over 800,000 people per year who commit suicide? Go out and help others. Go out and be an open book. Just be someone that people can talk to. Suicide's a scary thing that should never happen, but that's the world that we live in. And especially in a year that's been as odd and as challenging as this one, let's go and make a difference in the world where conversation about mental illness is not an awkward thing. It's more of an open book thing where you can just pull someone aside and say, hey, I love you. I want to talk to you about me feeling shitty, you know? But yeah, thank you so much for watching.